We're back again on Lutherans Alive with Dory Campbell, coordinator of ELCMA, Evangelical Lutheran Coalition for Mission in Appalachia. You've got to get that question often, Dory. What's ELCMA? It does actually describe fairly well the overall mission of the organization. How is it being coordinated? What kinds of things do you actually get drawn into that occupy your time and energies?
Well, I have to tell you first that our mission statement is to connect and equip God's people for Christ's mission in the Appalachian region. And so I keep checking in with that to make sure I'm on track, because you can get sidetracked pretty easily. Recently, we've added some staff to our office, which is a great blessing to me. So I have a little time coordinating those folks. But primarily, my job has been to do the networking and gather our folks together throughout the year, and also as we're connecting and equipping folks, they will identify things that need to happen in their place. They know what needs to happen where they are. But often they're missing some tool in order to get there. So I have the opportunity to perhaps share a grant writing training that they need, so that they might be able to write grants for the things they need, or help them to do some leadership development so that they can make changes in their area, for instance, around economic developments and things. But they aren't quite sure they have the self-confidence or they really think they don't know how, but they do. They just need a little encouragement. So we'll do leadership development things with a group and help them to decide what ministry they should be about, and let them loose, let them go. So those things take a lot of my time. I'm also very happy to be in coordination with the synods and the missions that they have in mind. So we will support and encourage new mission starts. We partner with the mission developers to, I just last week took a baptismal font from New Life Lutheran Church in Marion Center, Pennsylvania, to Trinity Lutheran Church in Jasper, Tennessee, a brand new ministry start. So those kinds of fun connections, and recycling is what we call it.
Well, that's good to hear, though, that as is the case in many ministries around the country, we aren't always a freestanding, independent organization doing our own thing. But when the church gets involved and people get into digging into the actual mission or ministry, it's a cooperative effort, and we work together with different expressions of the church as we do that.
It's true. I've had a call just the other day from Glenville, Illinois, from a Lutheran church there, who said, "We've partnered with you in the past, would like to do it again. Where can we send our money and our energy?" And believe me, there are lots of people saying, "Here, here." So we make those connections for them. That's lots of fun.
Is there any way to estimate, as you think about all the sites from north to south, and the folks that are involved in facilitating and bringing those ministries to fruition, how many people would you guesstimate are involved?
I know we have approximately 1,100 congregations that we count in the Appalachian region. We work also with community groups. You know, a lot of times ELCMA is the Lutheran representation in an area where there aren't any Lutheran churches. So we're able to bring Lutheran resources to bear in places where they sometimes couldn't get there. I've never counted the people. I maybe need to do that before I come back to see you.
It would be interesting to try to get some idea. But again, you know, that's the nature of mission and ministry. You reach out into an area, you undertake some project or some program or some initiative, and the next thing you know, there are people involved far beyond what you expected.
That is so true. We had a project in South Carolina that just took on a life of its own. It was one of those places where God was already working, and we just pretended we were part of it, you know. And ELCMA got to call the folks together that had everything we needed for a food pantry to be built and a new rec center to come up. And within about 8 or 9 months, over $500,000 was on the table, and the ground had been turned, and it was happening. And we just hung on and went with it. You know, it was one of those things that God laid out for us, and we were a part of. It was fun.
Well, it sounds like you get to fill that slot in a lot of cases, to be the facilitator or the enabler, the one who helps interpret or make the connections that actually frees up the energy and the inspiration to make things go on. That's got to be a pretty satisfying seat to be in, at least sometimes.
It really is. When I have to talk to groups, I say that we're a catalyst. You know,
Good word.
I think I know my biology or whatever it is, chemistry, well enough to know that I don't have to be there. It would happen anyway, but we just make it a little bigger. That's a little sooner.
Mm-hmm. And your base of operations at this point is around the Indiana, Pennsylvania area, right?
That's where my family is, and I get back there to visit as often as I can.
Mm-hmm.
But I do travel quite a bit, and I usually do it by car because the folks that we work with the most are in rural places, and airports aren't much use for that. So
Mm-hmm.
I get to see a lot of our wonderful region.
In terms of the north-south of the ELCMA situation, do folks really identify with each other across the region? Do people really see the larger picture of the church and the mission and ministry that you're trying to accomplish?
That's a wonderful question. I think overall, I would like to say yes. I think so. I just came home from Georgia, North Georgia, working with two mission developers, Mary and Daryl Golnutz, and they're in Blairsville, Georgia. And they have the same dream of making sure that the gospel is in those places that are rural and separated by mountains and sand as we do in Western Pennsylvania. So I think overall, the answer is yes.
That's encouraging to hear. I think sometimes we tend to get a little focused on our own local situation and our own local energies, and don't always see those larger connections or the bigger picture. And that is one of the blessings and benefits, I guess, that you're kind of an organization that isn't based out of a congregation, brings to us as well. It is time we have to take another break, but we'll be back again for one more segment in just a couple of seconds.
Okay.